Went to the cinema yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Guess what I saw?
Well,
Do you know what I saw?
no, not for a fact, but I'm planning to go to the cinema and see Back to the Future at some point.
What a film.
Yeah.
I'd pretty much already decided in the lobby that I was going to come out and conclude that it's the best film ever made.
Had you not already concluded that?
Well, I haven't watched it for a good while.
And have you seen it in the cinema before?
Never seen it in the cinema before. So then we were waiting around in the lobby. Someone needed a wee, so that, I'm just merchant people. I needed a wee. Head into the cinema. As we're walking up, it's the famous intro scene with the clocks. It's just started.
Walking up?
Yeah, because we had to wait for someone, and then I needed a wee. So
why didn't you get there in time for the trailers?
I was at the cinema at 6:25 for a 7:00 showing.
All right, that's a bit too far.
Yeah, exactly. So
how did you end up missing the start?
Because we had to wait for someone, and then I needed a wee.
You should have gone in this scene.
But I only decided. Anyway, walk up as it started.
With the
literally as the sort of it fades from black. So I didn't miss any, and I was just beaming the whole way through. It's just it's perfect. It's just the best film ever.
Yeah, I was thinking about it the other day because obviously you don't know when it's someone you liked as a kid. Often when you rewatch it as an adult, you think, oh, it's not as good as I thought it was. It's sort of nostalgia. Like, I still really like it because I loved it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how good it actually is. Whereas Back to the Future, when I was a kid, I loved it because there was time travel and car chases and hoverboards, and Marty McFly was the coolest person on earth.
Yeah.
And as an adult, I love it because it's an absolute masterpiece.
It's just phenomenal. Yeah.
I can't fault it.
Cool. I did have a couple of notes. One, so this is going to get quite nerdy for Back to the Future fans, but it's our podcast. We can talk about one.
Yeah.
He plays Earth Angel lousy, right? He's falling over. He's looking at his hand the whole time. He's barely playing the right chords. Yeah. Then he rallies for the last 3 bars, and then Marvin Berry goes, "That was great. Let's do another one." Why? Why isn't he going, "You can't play the guitar at all. Get off the stage." You lunatic.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, even when he pulls it back at the end of that song, he's still only playing a couple of chords.
Yeah.
Well, how about you lead the next song playing loads of guitar?
Sing it. Yeah. Also, the song that they're doing before,
Night Train, it's called.
Yeah, the song there's no guitar on that mix at all. You cannot hear the guitar at all. And then Marvin goes, "Oh, we can't possibly play without my vague bit of rhythm guitar." It's a 6-piece band. They can get away with it. It would have been fine to finish the night without him. My other note is it's a bit weird how they keep Biff around even after he sexually assaults Lorraine.
Yeah, they get him to wax the car.
Well, say what you want about Biff, but if it wasn't for him, we never would have fallen in love. Like, well, if it wasn't for him, he's not a great bloke.
No, we should hire him as our
home help.
Auto detail.
Yeah, but other than that,
really grovelly because he once got punched by him.
Yeah,
this doesn't make a lot of sense.
Other than that. Oh, my other note, this is really niche, but George McFly needs to hire a better publicity photographer because he looks so cool. When he comes in, he's been playing tennis with Lorraine. He's got that, he's got polo shirt on. He looks so cool. The press photo on the back of his book, he looks like a massive nerd. I don't know who's taken that photo. He looks much cooler in real life.
Yeah.
They should reshoot that.
Yeah.
But that is very nerdy. And also, I only decided to start thinking of nitpicks for the last 10 minutes of the film.
Yeah, clearly.
Because I was just in too good a mood for the first bit.
Yeah. It's a masterpiece.
It's flawless.
Hello and welcome back to Red Army Reaction. We are coming down from a slight high of 3 wins in a row, now back down to earth. Or are we still taking the positives?
Well, we'll come on to this later, but I found myself thinking, God, I really wanted to win 5 in a row. And then there's only one very specific reason that I cared specifically about winning 5 in a row. And I realized I don't care about that at all. In which case, 3 wins in a draw is fine.
Yeah.
Especially with the opposition of the last, some good teams in there.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Yeah. It's a shame.
It is a shame.
We started winning and now we've not won. And going into the game, we were saying we should be winning this game. They're in the relegation zone.
Yeah.
But the new manager does help. I don't think for a second that Nottingham Forest will go down.
No.
And they'll get some good results at home, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It depends how we do and how Forest do from this point, how we look back on that result, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit. So there's something to be said of the fact that we didn't lose the game. I think
definitely.
Under different circumstances, probably with this manager, there's been periods where we definitely would have lost that game.
Yeah, having gone behind. Like you look at the Brentford game was similar.
Yeah.
I know we didn't
go ahead
in that game, but we equalised and then went back behind.
I think it does speak to a bit of resilience there that we didn't lose the game.
Yeah.
And like you say, Forest are a talented squad. Their league position is not reflective of the level of quality of player they have. It's reflective of the, sort of chaos around the manager situation, which they have addressed somewhat. So it's not a disaster result.
No.
It's not a loss. It does, I think, point to some issues that were hidden slightly in the 3 wins and have not been fixed or not been resolved fully, but are worth talking about. I think it's worth. I don't think anyone's thinking we were the perfect team for those 3 games. I think the issues were still there, but this result sort of allows us to talk about those issues again, I think.
Yeah, but we also don't want to say, those 3 games were clearly a blip. I know we've gone back to our real level, which is where we were.
No, I don't think
probably
that's,
somewhere in the
that's
middle.
Yeah. Like, I think, neither of us were talking about this, but there was a certain voice among the United fans of, we can put something serious together here and, challenge at the very high levels. We were talking about how I don't think there's 4 or 5 teams that are definitely better than us.
Yeah, and we should be in the conversation for Europe and probably Champions League.
And I don't think that's changed by this.
No.
I think it speaks to the nature of the Premier League this season. It's very competitive. Anyone can take points off anyone. There are currently 4 points separating 10th and 3rd place, I think, maybe 4th place. So there's which is a historically low number.
Yeah.
So it's, the league position is going to be volatile for a while. And we can hopefully try and get some consistency. And I think this result, you can take it one of 2 ways. You can take it as the end of a run of wins, or you can take it as another step in an unbeaten streak.
Yeah, in a good period.
Yeah. Like we said about, a result in isolation can mean lots of different things. But in the context of a win, 3 wins, and then a good performance against Spurs, a draw against Forest is fine.
Yeah.
If we then lose to Spurs, then it looks like another declining period. So it's an interesting one.
Yeah, we started quite well.
Yeah, I think so.
It was quite an even game throughout, really. But first half, Forest didn't offer a lot.
No, a couple of speculative efforts.
Yeah.
Nothing too major.
Yeah, but we deserved to take the lead, I would say. We were.
Yeah, depends who you ask.
Yeah, but should we talk about the corner if we're talking about the first goal?
Yeah.
I know it's tedious to talk about refereeing decisions, and we haven't done it too much on this podcast.
It's classic that, obviously, that's the most galling one for the Forest fans and for the manager because we scored from it.
Yeah.
There were 2 in the second half that were wrong.
Yeah.
And no one thinks any more of them. No one's desperate. If we got a goal, they got a goal kick when we should have had a corner. We could have scored from that.
Yeah.
But we didn't because it was given the wrong way. It's, you have to.
It looks worse when you score from it, but we had other corners that were correctly given as well that we didn't score from. It's a corner. They happen all the time. Yeah. You can accidentally put the ball out of play for a corner. It can bounce off you and go for a corner. It's not like it's a penalty where you're expected to score from it.
You're expected to defend corners.
Yeah.
That's something you have to do 10 to 15 times in a game.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Whether the ball went all the way out of play or not.
Yeah. There was calls from Sean Dyche for VAR. I don't think people don't want that. People are already annoyed at the encroachment of VAR.
Yeah.
They don't want VAR for every decision.
No.
And what people would want perhaps is a much more streamlined VAR process, which maybe this is where it gets to, where you have 30 seconds for the VAR to make a decision, and if they can't make a decision, the on-field decision stands.
Yeah.
You could probably get away with that for most things. I don't think people want a 30-second, but it wouldn't be every corner, obviously, because you can conclude pretty conclusively most of the time.
Yeah.
But without a major revamp, it would cause huge delays, or it would you'd have to have it with not very much accuracy. And
Yeah.
we've already got a system with probably
Decent
90% accuracy.
yeah.
So adding another 90% accurate system on top doesn't move the needle too much.
Yeah, and I know everyone thinks this about their club to an extent, but it seems when United benefit from a wrong decision, people talk about it so much more.
Yeah,
Like,
massively.
It's similar situation to Brighton moving the free kick 10 yards forward to right on the edge of the box that they scored against United.
It did get a single moment's play.
No, there wasn't a whole thing in the Athletic about how they should use VAR to set the free kick in the right place.
No.
And we should have done better to deal with the free kick.
Yeah.
So, these little wrong decisions don't really change that much. There's still a lot that has to happen after that.
Yeah, and they've brought in technology to the chagrin of a lot of Forest fans and, managers like Sean Dyche. And they've mainly limited it, thankfully, to the most important decisions.
Yeah.
So goal line and penalties and red cards.
Yeah.
The line is somewhat arbitrary. It has to be. So people don't like that you can use it for red cards, but you can't use it for yellow cards.
Second yellows, yeah.
Why? But you have
They
to
have to draw the line somewhere.
And there will always be a decision that falls on the wrong side of that line.
Yeah.
And you think, why have they drawn the line there? But they have to draw the line somewhere. And I think things that once the ball goes out of play and it's not a goal, resetting the game there and saying, well, this is where we're starting from. Everything before this isn't being relitigated. Yeah. Because do you do it on just corners that goals are scored from? Or do you do it on every corner?
Because,
do you only do it?
What if they score on the counter attack from a corner and it shouldn't have been?
It should have been a goal kick. Yeah.
Redo that as well.
Who knows? They can't possibly litigate for all these things.
No.
They have to just decide, and they have decided.
Yeah.
And they should stop changing the rules so much. Is the one main thing people don't like.
Yeah.
Is the fact that the game is changing constantly.
Yeah, and the general consensus amongst seems like most football fans is that they don't like VAR. They would get rid of it if they could.
Yeah.
Or at least it should be limited in its re-refereeing of games. And Sean Dyche is one of them. He doesn't like VAR. But then when it goes against his team, we should be helping the referees. We've got the technology. Why don't we use it? Which is what people said before VAR was here.
Yeah. But, and would say if they got rid of it.
Yeah.
It's an unwinnable situation. I don't think the technology and the rules as they are currently implemented are perfect, but most of the changes people recommend, I think, would make it worse.
Yeah.
So, until someone comes up with a much better solution, we're stuck with it. I think limiting its impact on the game, and obviously we're going to say this because we got the goal.
We benefit from it. But I think I would say this either way.
Yeah, we didn't call for the free kick to be re-refereed and moved last week.
No.
We said it's annoying that they did this and no one will care about it, but who cares? We did still win the game.
Win the game.
So, football fans are inherently biased and everyone's going to have this sort of unconscious, quite conscious sometimes, bias against decisions that cost their team goals. It's going to happen.
You were saying before we started recording about people saying, how can the linesman see it from there?
Yeah.
He can, he's clearly guessed.
Because that's what the job of the linesman is to do. He has to decide whether or not he thinks that went out. He doesn't have to decide whether he can prove in a court of law that it unrefutably, beyond any measure of doubt, went out. Yeah. He just has to say, I think that went out.
Yeah, that's his position where he has to be. From there, he can't see very well whether it's gone in or out. But he shouldn't. It's not innocent until proven guilty. It should be.
The burden of proof, there isn't a burden of proof. He doesn't have to have, beyond all doubt. He just has to call them as he sees them, and he thought that went out. And it was, as people said, it was millimeters.
It was pretty close, yeah.
So it wasn't an awful decision.
Yeah, a lot of the ball did cross.
Yeah. It wasn't the worst decision you've ever seen, but you can't account for, you have to allow a human being to make that decision at some stage up the chain.
Yeah, I can understand that argument more with penalties because a penalty is such a big game-changing thing where you think if it's soft, if you're not sure that it was a foul, maybe you should let it go on. But I don't think that applies with corners.
People seem to think that, or a referee's job is to sort of minimize their own involvement. But if they have to make the decisions that they see, especially with the ball going out of play, you can't just say, well, the players all thought it was this. So, and I can't overrule them. So I have to, because I'm too far away. The liner's job is to call every time it goes out of play.
It's not the same as like the referees let the game flow a lot. He's not giving any soft free kicks and stuff. He's not like, oh, well, every marginal corner call, he's counted it as it's stayed in play, really let the game flow by not giving too many corners. That's not
the referee's job.
I remember one a few years ago before VAR where Arsenal had a goal ruled out for offside that was very, very narrowly offside. And Martin Keown was saying the linesman, there's no way he can know that. Like, it's so narrowly offside that there's no way he was sure it was offside. He's guessed and he's happened to get it right, but he shouldn't have given it because he couldn't have known it was offside. I'm like, well, he could have done.
It's always the balance of probability. He always has to just go with what he thinks.
Yeah, it looked to him like it was offside, and it was. So why are you annoyed? That's the even more extreme example than this one. It's probably no coincidence that it was Arsenal had a goal ruled out and it was Martin Keown doing the punditry. But
yeah, and Sean Dyche, Forest are in a position where they need every point they can get. It was annoying for him that we got a goal off it. It was a good goal. It was a good delivery.
Yeah.
Very simple. We don't score a lot of simple goals.
No, not from corners, especially.
Casemiro's on a good run.
Yeah.
2-2.
And he's playing well in midfield as well.
Yeah, he is, yeah. I think there's a inherent limitation to just having the two of them in midfield, but we don't look as exposed as we have previously with two in midfield.
Yeah.
Casemiro seems to be in a period of good form, I'd say.
Yeah. It was a terrible start to the second half, really.
Yeah, shocking.
Forest, we went in at halftime 1-0 up. You'll take that Forest away. We've got the lead and held onto it. And then to come out 5 minutes into the second half and you're losing.
Yes.
Pretty poor. Clearly, obviously, Sean Dyche managed to get a tune out of them straight away. And Forest were a lot better in the second half.
They were, yeah. I think this is something I was talking about earlier, where the weaknesses of the squad and the system have been sort of hidden in the last three games. But teams that come at us and are combative and get right up against the back three are able to create chances, and we aren't able to do anything about it, seemingly. Liverpool were able to create chances. Brighton and Sunderland were both quite poor and weren't, seemingly sort of let the game pass them by.
Yeah.
Whereas once a team decides to have a go, I think most teams are finding that they will get joy and they will get chances against us. What needs to happen is, in the decision that needs to be made is whether or not you can get better personnel and fix that issue, or if that is a fundamental systemic issue that's always going to be there.
Yeah.
You can't just keep trading players till you have the best squad in the league in order to get better. You have to be able to play above the level of the squad sometimes. And this system does expose that weakness in midfield. It always has done. And when teams are up against us, we do look slightly vulnerable from that.
Yeah, they did seem to get a lot of joy. They seem to have a lot of space. Once you get past the midfield, then the sort of back three will drop back a bit. They're always, particularly Forest, seem to have a lot of room in that sort of area there. Get the ball into the box, which is how they got both their goals were from crosses into the box. Yeah,
it was poor positionally from the defence. They didn't handle those situations well. And, you think maybe Harry Maguire in there can help with that sort of thing. But it wasn't, they weren't big mistakes from the defence. It was,
it's sort of
poor handling.
De Ligt and Yoro went for the same ball for the second goal.
And then Dallo was stood in an offside position. And it wasn't stood in an offside position. He was playing their striker on side. Yeah, there was, they could have been handled better, but also there were several other chances that they didn't capitalise on. So they may have done better on some of those.
Yeah.
The way to sustainably improve is to limit the number of chances the opposition has. Like, obviously we're not comparing ourselves to Arsenal, but if you've seen any of the stats around Arsenal this season,
they've certainly limited opposition chances.
So Raya made 7 games in the game against United.
Made seven
saves in the game against United, sorry, and has made 9 since. And they've conceded 3 goals in that time.
Yeah.
So the amount of chances they are limiting the opposition to is, and they've played City and Liverpool in that time.
Yeah.
That's preposterous. They are so limiting on what opposition teams can do. And they're not a free scoring team. They're not scoring for fun. They're not that sort of...
No, they're scoring a couple of goals, 1 or 2 goals from set pieces every game.
Yeah, which is very effective and wins you the league and the current rate they're going. But they're not that super team that can completely limit the opposition and be perfectly on the attack at the same time. Sort of the 100-point City team. But they are seemingly one of the only teams that have figured out how to reliably shut teams down in this league. And part of that is because teams are naturally inclined to defend against Arsenal. And so you don't have, because they're the best team in the league, so they're not constantly going at Arsenal. They're happy to sort of sit off and try and get their blows in while they can. But, it's chicken and egg, really. Arsenal are able to control games, so therefore they're able to limit the opposition chances. So therefore the opposition team doesn't try and play very expansive football. Yeah. You can't have it both ways. United at the moment, we're nowhere near as bad as we were under Erik ten Hag for this, but a lot of our games are sort of quite open, free-flowing games where both teams get a lot of chances. And we may well get some success by being the team that takes more of our chances this season. But the way to becoming that elite team like Arsenal are this season is by minimising the number of opportunities you let the opposition have. And we don't seem to be prioritising that at the moment.
No. Just on Arsenal, they didn't concede a goal in October in all competitions. I think it was 4 league games and 2 in other competitions.
They're not conceding. Well, I know they beat Atletico 4-0, didn't they?
Yeah. They're well on track to beat the Chelsea record for least goals conceded in a Premier League season. And they're, I think, 9 games away from our consecutive clean sheet record.
I mean, we
got 14 clean sheets in a row.
Yes.
That's nearly half a season. Yeah. Like I was thinking when they got another clean sheet, I was like, a record might be in trouble here. But another 9 games without conceding a goal. That would be unthinkable. And I don't know how we did it. I was only 9 at the time.
How we did it. No, it's ridiculous. I mean, that's not a Premier League record. That's a world record. That's a Guinness World Record. That is the most, I mean, it was a combination of, again, the sort of aura of that team being that team's, you were 2-0 up in the tunnel with that team. You didn't really go out and play against them. You tried not to get embarrassed against them.
Yeah.
And also they had the best keeper in the world and the 2 best centre-halves in the world at the same time. And, Gary Neville and Patrice Evra weren't bad fullbacks for their day.
Yeah. So I'm
less worried about that record.
I don't want to, tempt fate, but I'm quite confident that record will stay beyond this season.
Also, they've already lost, so they're not going to do another Invincibles, which is always good to see.
Yeah. Get back to United.
Yeah. So 2 poor goals to concede, really. And like you say, we'd limited them in the first half, or they hadn't, I don't think we're capable of limiting teams, but they hadn't really gone for it in the first half. Came out in the second half, blitzed us.
And I imagine that's what Sean Dyche would have said at halftime was, we can get chances, we need to
try.
Go for it a bit more.
Yeah. And then once it was 2-1 to them, there was a worry that they were going to sit in and United were going to really struggle. Yeah. We've seen that hundreds of times over the last 10 years where a team will, even Forest last season where they had Wanda Nuno, they get that goal
they won 1-0,
and then there's nothing you can do really. Yeah. We aren't a team capable of carving open a low block.
Yeah, that was a very frustrating game.
It was awful, yeah.
It was Elanga who scored the goal as well on the counter-attack.
And if that was their big chance, if we just crop him 70 yards from our goal, because in a foot race, you're not catching it. But they started
out. Tactical fouls are for.
Yeah, naivety on that one. So this could have gone the same way. We could have easily seen, because they scored their second on about 51 minutes. So they had a good long amount of time to try and get a goal out of them. And
it took us a while.
It did, yeah. I wasn't nervous. I thought we'd score. And thankfully we did. It was an excellent goal.
Great goal. It's Ahmad's first of the season.
Yeah.
A lot of people have talked more so than have been in recent weeks, probably because we've been winning, about the position Ahmad's playing in.
Yeah.
Because when you see him do something like that, you think this isn't a player who should be playing at wing back. He should be closer to the goal. And I think that's a bit far. I think Ahmad and Mbeumo have been linking up really well the last few games, and we should sort of nurture that partnership and not worry about Ahmad getting closer to the goal, because he's been playing well as a wing back.
Yeah.
But people, when you look at that goal. He's capable of that. Should he be closer to the goal? He scored a lot more goals. Scored more freely last season, certainly.
Yeah, but he's played his best stuff last season at wing back. I think it's a limitation of the way we talk about football, really, that it's called a wing back. It's not supposed to be a defensive position, really.
No.
If you look at Gio Coenda at Lisbon, he's not a defensive player in any way, and he played there for 2 seasons and was one of the best young players in the world, and has agreed to move to Chelsea, where he'll play as a winger. I'm going to play at fullback for Chelsea because it's an attacking system that has attacking players, that has 5 attacking players, but people aren't really, certainly in Britain, British football aren't used to not having wide defenders. And we don't really have them. Ahmad's job in an ideal version of the system should have not very much defensive duty at all. About as much defensive duty as a modern winger would have. You're expected to go back and cover. You're expected to track their fullback. But it's not, you wouldn't class them as a defender.
No. And those sort of wingers in a old-fashioned sense further up the pitch don't exist that much anymore.
No.
Wide players further up are more commonly inside forwards. Salah isn't someone who hugs the touchline and puts crosses in them.
No, you don't get many of them.
At the top level, they're goal scorers as much as they are anything else.
Yeah, whereas this is a sort of a wide attacker, sort of like, I'm not going to compare the two in terms of quality, but if you think of the position David Beckham played, the wide furthest right of a 4, it was, compared to a modern winger, it was defensive, but it wasn't a defender.
No.
He got back and did his job with defensive players behind him who were the primary people to play in those positions. And that's what this system should be. The issue we have currently is we aren't capable of reliably keeping the ball.
Yeah.
So all of our players end up doing more defending than we would like them to. And when they are defending, then they're not cut out for it. If you play Ahmad there, when he does that defensive role, he's not as good at it.
Yeah.
That's fine. It should be that he's not having to do it very often and that you get away with it when he does have to do it. At the moment, he's having to do a bit too much of it. But I don't think it's an issue where some people are fundamentally against this system.
Yeah.
And I think it's an issue of communication and also an issue of the fact that we've not been anywhere near good enough. And
we've lost a lot of games.
Yeah, we've lost a lot of games playing the system. And people like to blame the system, and that's fair enough. But I don't think Ahmad, because there's no other way to get Ahmad and Mbomo in the team.
No.
We'd have to drop one. If we played Ahmad at number 10, or if we played a traditional sort of 4-2-3-1, you end up dropping Ahmad, really.
Yeah.
And no one wants to do that.
No
one wants to drop Ahmad or Mbomo. So I think this is a good solution to get them both in the team, and I think it's generally a positive thing.
Yeah. A lot of people have also talked about our other wing-back this weekend, Diogo Dalot, who's been playing the last couple of games as a left wing-back.
Yeah.
When a lot of people would say he's not even a very good right wing-back on his strong foot. He had a poor game on Saturday. And one of Amorim's quotes said, it's frustrating because when he gets down there, he's on his wrong foot, so he can't always swing the crosses in like we'd want him to.
Yeah.
To which people have said, well,
why are you playing
him there? You're the one who picks the team.
Yes.
And we've got Patrick Dorgu, who a lot of United fans and a lot of fans have criticised his performances recently. But it seems a no-brainer when you've got a right back playing badly at left wing back and you've got a left wing back on the bench who is left-footed.
Yeah, I think it's a weakness of this manager is that he is reluctant to make changes when things aren't working.
Yeah.
Like he's got an idea of this team in his head, and despite the evidence in front of him that certain decisions haven't worked, he's very reluctant to undo those decisions. Like it's obvious to a lot of people that when we had that downturn in form earlier in the season that Fernandes wasn't playing well.
Yeah.
But he stuck with him, and Fernandes is now he's not making mistakes.
No, he's doing a reliable member of the
team again. But at no point did the manager ever consider taking him out of that position. And it seems to be the same case with Dalot, where a lot of people can see that the major limitations of Dalot's game are holding this team back. And it could be the manager's downfall that he's not willing to sort of admit that something isn't working.
Yeah, and it's clearly holding Cunha back as well. There's a obvious thing to look at when Mbeumo is getting more of the ball in the right areas than Cunha is. When I don't think anyone would say Mbeumo is a much better player than Cunha. I'd say they're very similar level of players, really.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have that same relationship. And United, historically, have always had those partnerships between fullbacks and wingers.
Yeah.
And we seem to be creating one of those with Ahmad and Mbeumo, and we're not able to do that on the other side.
Yeah, it does seem to be limiting slightly. And Cunha's influence. He had a quiet game. He wasn't able to put his stamp on the game the weekend, which was a shame because he was very good against Brighton. He had a very good game. Yeah. But again, it's when he's not able to pick up the ball in those positions, you don't really want to blame Cunha because he's new to the team and, we've seen what he can do.
Yeah. And when he does have the ball, he looks confident on the ball and he picks good passes. And
yeah, he's just that's a limitation that they need to work out, and that's why they get paid a lot of money, and that's why they, having a week off and having, they need to come up with solutions to these problems before it gets on too long. Then our form is certainly not perfect, and we don't have football fans have relatively short memories, but there is still a lot of work to be done to get the manager back up.
Yeah. It's not like he's undone with 3 wins. He's not undone the dozens of losses we've suffered in the last year. It is a year now since Amorim came in.
We should have had hats.
Yeah.
Celebrate perhaps the worst year in the recent history of the club.
Yeah, absolutely. He's won
9 league games. Must have won slightly more than that.
We should have looked this up, but he's not got a great record.
No.
Certainly in the league.
No.
If we're sort of evaluating his tenure as United manager over the past year, it's failure. It's abject failure.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that he deserves to be sacked right now. I think at times he has deserved to be sacked, which I didn't want to see, and we haven't seen it. And I think he's definitely bought himself a fair chunk more time with even just 3 wins.
Yeah.
But it's not been a great first year for him.
No, I think they've moved. The debate has probably moved on beyond, is he currently the problem? I don't think that. I think whether or not the team is playing to above the level of the players in the squad is not really. I think what was happening was the team was playing far below the level of the players in the squad, which was unsustainable and was rightly causing questions about the manager. I think we're probably playing about the level of the squad. I think the quality of players we have is that of the sort of 5th to 8th best team, and we look about that good, which the manager has improved and has got them to play cohesively in that way. The next question for the manager is, how do you transition from being the 5th to 8th best team in the squad to competing for the league?
Yeah. Is that all about signings, or does the manager need to raise his game as well?
It can't possibly be all about signings, because you can't reliably have the best squad in the league.
Yeah. And the 20 teams in the Premier League don't finish in the order of who's got the best squad.
And I don't think anyone would expect United to, you want United to have a competitive side and one of the best sides in the league with some of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
You can't expect United to only win the league when they have comfortably the best team, because it could take a very long time to get there. It may never happen. You need a manager who can elevate the players and who can get results against the, sort of not unexpected results, but can get the team to play above themselves.
Yeah.
And it's whether or not Amorim can prove to be that, which we haven't seen any evidence of. There's no results on the calendar that are, the 2 big wins of his career came against City at the Etihad and Liverpool at Anfield, both in really poor periods of form.
We've not gone to a really good team and taken the game to them and beaten them.
No, I don't think we've done that since. Certainly away from home, we've not done that since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Did we not do that in the FA Cup final?
Maybe. There's also the debate of, because we played conservatively and beat City the way that teams beat City, which is by stealing goals. And there's a debate about whether a United team or a team can win the league doing that, or whether or not, we've not seen, I don't think including Ollie, maybe even including Jose either, that a United team go and be the dominant side and in every game and be the side that other teams change their ideas on how to beat. We've never been at that level since Ferguson left. We've been the team that can get results against teams by playing in a certain way to mitigate the other team, as opposed to the team that shows up and plays their best and wins.
Yeah, I'd like to think you can win the league doing that, but I think probably you need sometimes, like you play, not to be too Big Six centric, but say you've got 5 home games and 5 away games against the rest of the Big Six.
Yeah.
You should be able to, in some of them, adapt to the opposition's game and, sit in and nick a goal and get some results that way. But also, you can't do that in all of them.
No.
There should be some where you take the game to them and you are the better side and you prove your credentials by winning. Because we've seen Crystal Palace go to the Etihad and win playing conservatively under Roy Hodgson, and we've not done that as United for a long time. Is that sort of where you look at us and we deserve to win against a really good side and we play really good football.
Yeah. I don't like using phrases, but the phrase of sort of like winning in the right way or winning in the United way, that sort of idea that you can get a result against anybody, but you should be the team that everyone wants to get a result against.
Teams should be adapting the game to play us, which I don't think they do necessarily.
No, and I think that's been a big sea change this season, or that's what the Liverpool and City games against Arsenal felt like, which was, okay, the Arsenal are that team now.
Yeah, but Arsenal didn't play like that team against Liverpool away. And people said they should have done that, and they would have won if they did that. But they did try and adapt the game and ended up losing to a free kick.
Was it City at the Emirates?
Yeah.
Where City
they played the counter-attack.
And Arsenal got a point in that game, but that was a good result for City. That was City getting out of there alive, and I think that's been a major revelation for Arsenal this season. Is they're not used to being that team.
Yeah,
and at the moment it's working for them.
Yeah, very well.
What we want to see from United is, we don't expect to be that team reasonably soon.
No.
It's whether or not you can be that team, whether this United team can become that team, or whether or not this United team is going to get to 4th in the league and then be this 3, not be able to lay a glove on City still.
Yeah.
Which has happened in the past. We finished 2nd under Jose and we were
18 points behind City,
we're miles off it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that's come out this last week, has been that I think our last 6 games, we've only won the ones where we've had less possession.
Yeah.
And whether or not that's sustainable, I don't expect this. I don't have an issue with this version of United being that. It's all about the transition from being that to being the team that can dominate the ball, and whether or not this is the guy to do it. That's where the next big question is, I think, rather than the big question being, is this guy an absolute bum?
Yeah, should this guy be sacked immediately?
Yeah. I think that's a more interesting debate.
But I'm much happier with this period now, and it's sort of, that question will come. But right now we're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
That's a much happier place to be in.
Yeah. Because we said at the start of the season, United didn't need to become an elite side to be a lot better than last season.
No.
We needed to become a competent side.
Yeah. And capable of winning games.
Yeah. To be comfortably better than last season. And we've seen that in the last few weeks where we're no longer an absolute basket case. It's getting from an okay side to a great side is probably an even harder step again.
Yeah. One man who will have been sad, or perhaps not, about United failing to win is Frank, better known as the United Strand.
Is that his real name?
His name's Frank, I think, yeah.
Frank. You don't get a lot of Franks.
No.
Not of our age, anyway, of our vintage.
No. It seems the world of football can't stop talking about him.
No. Should we? I think we should say this is the last time we talk about him.
Okay. Until we win 5 games in a row, and then we'll maybe give him a little nod.
Maybe, yeah.
But the mood on him has sort of changed a little bit. I've seen a lot of a certain section of United fans who have accused him of not being a real United fan, and the fact that he's profiting off United not winning because he's only sort of relevant when United don't win.
I saw someone moaning about the pressure that he creates in the fan base.
Yeah, it's like, if I were him, I would just cut it off now because it's creating undue pressure on the team and stuff. And someone rightly replied saying, if the biggest club in the world can't handle the pressure of some bloke not cutting his hair, then something's wrong.
I think it's still in the harmless fun genre.
Yeah.
But I do think it has started to seep it too far into the discourse around United.
Yeah.
Where, like we said, like 3 wins and a draw is fine.
Certainly compared to what some of our runs of form have been.
To get to the end of that game and to be like gutted that we didn't win because we wanted him to get a haircut. It's so weird.
And this 5 wins in a row thing isn't some metric that all teams are measured with. A lot of teams, you could win the league and not win 5 in a row.
Yeah, definitely. It's not like he said, like I'm not cutting my hair till United win the league. In which case, that is obviously will take a lot longer.
We'd want to win the league anyway.
Yeah, you'd want to, but obviously we want to win games. But it's weird that all of United's results now are framed around this one bloke getting a haircut.
And Neco Williams put it in his caption about the game. The trim might have to wait.
That's stupid as well. I don't like online footballers. I think all footballers shouldn't have no phone and just be like
they shouldn't engage with football fans on Twitter.
They should be like a monk. It's weird that when they try and join in online spaces. I don't like it. I don't like Haaland's YouTube channel. I think that should be a thing.
No, what about Ben Foster? When he was still playing, he had the cycling GK. And he had the GoPro in the goal.
Rubbish.
Yeah.
Not for me.
No. The United Strand guy has now done a Paddy Power advert.
Of course
so he's got I'm sure he's paid a fair amount for that, which he's not going to get in a few months' time.
And, fair play to him. I think you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You got to have your 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
And you've got to cash in where you can.
Yeah. Although we wouldn't do that.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know.
For the record. We'll say that now.
Okay.
Yeah, Fabregas once said, if I go to Chelsea, you have permission to shoot me. And then he did,
If Paddy Power are watching, which they aren't, if you... Well, all offers will be considered, financial or otherwise.
Mm.
We'll see.
I'm sure he got paid a lot less than Danny Dyer and Colleen Rooney got paid for their massive new Paddy Power advert.
I'd expect so. It's not quite as inevitable as the Big John doing an advert for Curry's with doing adverts in the Bosch dishwashers. I think that was the partnership the world was crying out for.
Yeah, it was a tap-in, really. But yeah, we probably should have a slight moratorium on the United Strand. Certainly because he's not going to be knocking on the door for a long time,
No.
He's not won any games in a row now.
Yeah, I think there's some people said just count, you don't have to reset it, just count. Just don't count it. So it doesn't start again at 0. It just stays at 3 because we didn't lose. Like there's some people trying to give him an out, I think. But I think depending on our FA Cup draw, maybe by like Christmas or New Year's, maybe he couldn't do it. He can do it then. Yeah.
If we win our 2 home games between Christmas and New Year, and then I think we've got Fulham, and then maybe FA Cup games.
So it's not miles away.
No, it's always possible. Villa have won 5 games in a row this season, and they've not been amazing.
Yeah, I also think maybe when he said it, well, he wasn't thinking when he said it. He hadn't gone through the fixtures when he said it.
Yeah,
he just
but United had won 3 games in a row when he said it.
Yeah. But also, once you consider that we're only playing league games, if we were playing Europa League group stage games, it would have been done. It could have easily been done. If we'd have won in the Carabao Cup, it would have been much easier to do it. To only play Premier League games and to have to win 5 in a row is very difficult.
Yeah,
and it's probably it's more difficult than he thought it was going to be when he set off.
Yeah.
So,
but wish him well, because him doing well means United win 5 games in a row.
I hope he can have a haircut as soon as he likes.
Yeah, and fair play to him for donating his hair when he does get it cut off.
If he just decides to have a haircut and never go online again, that's also fine. Yeah. I wouldn't care.
Yeah. But yeah, we should move on.
Weird how
from
much
him.
people talk about it, and so we have to decide to stop talking about it.
Yeah,
because we are big trendsetters in the United Online discourse. I think.
Yeah. If we stop, then
because especially when you come out 3 days after everyone else has done their takes, then people look at us and think, well, maybe for next week we'll steal their ideas. You know, that's why it doesn't seem as obvious, but it is. It's clearly going on.
We're also big trendsetters in the world of having your hair too long. So maybe
and getting told to get it cut all the time.
Yeah.
City got another win.
They did. Haaland is just. I know he's been unbelievable for a few seasons, but it seems like he's just gone to another level now already. He's got 13 league goals, which
is ridiculous, but is also his second best record after 10 games because of the season where he got 3 hat-tricks in a row.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, we've not seen it before in the Premier League.
No, of the top 5 most goals scored in the first 10 games, 4 of them are Haaland in the last 4 seasons, and the other one is
Rooney.
No,
Alan Shearer.
No,
is it obvious?
Not that obvious.
Andy Cole.
No, similar in terms of the teams he played for.
He played for United.
No.
Did he?
It's Les Ferdinand.
Ah.
Did he play for Newcastle?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Les Ferdinand once got 11 in his first 10.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, 13, ridiculous from Haaland. Still, City's second top scorer is Esteve own goal with 2. Every other City player has 1 goal.
Yeah.
And they're going to they're the second best team in the league by having just an absolute monster up front.
Yeah. He can't be far off 100 Premier League goals now. And he's played 3 seasons and 10 games.
Yeah. No, I don't think he's far off. I think he could have hit it this weekend. I think he's on about 98.
Right. Which is that will blow the record out of the water, I'm sure.
I think the record's like 104 games or something.
Is that true?
Yeah. I think so. The record's not that far ahead of him, but he is a joke of a player.
Yeah.
Does he go down as he's not quite the one that got away for United?
No, he's one of many. But we sent scouts to watch him in Norway and he scored 4 goals in the first half. Which I'm sure we've done that with loads of youth players who haven't turned out to be the best striker in the world.
There's also the case that everyone knew Haaland was going to be amazing.
Yeah, but we knew Mould's manager and he would have sold him to United over anyone else.
Yeah. Even though his dad played for City and Leeds and hates Roy Keane.
Yeah.
He still would have come to United.
I think he would.
From Mulder, I suppose. That's a different thing.
Because he went to
Salzburg,
then Dortmund, then City.
Yeah.
But I think we could have got him from Mulder. Would he have become the same player? I don't know.
That's always the one, isn't it?
Yeah.
We talk.
And usually at United, no, they don't become the same player.
Is he not inevitable though?
Well, maybe.
Maybe because he's never had a downturn in form. Not really.
No.
He's basically reliably scored. There was a sort of a hypothetical question that ran around the internet, which went, if a genie granted you the ability to every time you played a game of football you scored a hat trick, how long would it take you to become a Premier League footballer?
Yeah.
He's basically that.
Yeah.
He's reliably scored at every single level he's ever played at, and is now the best striker in the world.
Yeah, it's painful. And he did the robot celebration, which was apparently a reference to people saying he's a robot on the pitch. He's not.
He's not aping Crouch.
No. He's, and this will sound bitter from a United fan, but I don't enjoy watching him as a footballer.
It's an odd one. I do get what you mean.
Doesn't capture the imagination.
No.
And I wouldn't care about this if I was a City fan, obviously.
Obviously not. Obviously.
And I'd love having reasons to wind up City fans by saying that their striker who scored 100 goals in 100 games, I don't like him as a player.
Yeah.
But he doesn't, I don't know, it's like he's got no soul on the pitch.
Yeah, he is.
He's too good.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, he missed the chance actually against Bournemouth, and it was a bit like everyone was sort of a bit let down, I think. So he already scored the first 2 where he sort of vaguely outmuscles the defender, but the defender doesn't really try and get that close to him, and then takes 3 paces, and he's 4 yards ahead of him. And then the keeper is in the middle of nowhere, and he just passes it underneath him. And he did that perfectly the second time. Then it happened again, and this time the keeper wasn't in the middle of nowhere and saved it. And it was like, oh, I didn't really. Everyone was like, oh, wow, fair enough.
He can not score. He is human after all, as they say.
Well, yeah, but
you do actually start to question it with Haaland, whether he is human.
Yeah, he's I don't know. He's like a new breed of footballer. He's like Ivan Drago.
Yeah,
he's like. Is Ivan Drago the one I'm thinking of?
From Rocky?
The Russian uber athlete who's like the opposite of Rocky. But everyone wants Rocky to win.
Yeah,
No one supports Ivan Drago in that.
No.
And I think I do get what it does come across as slight sour grapes. But I do understand where you're coming from.
Actually, I know better. I wouldn't want him in my team because I don't like him.
Yeah. But maybe United would have fixed him. Maybe you can't. You have to sell your soul when you go to City.
Yeah, maybe. That'll wind up any City fans who
accidentally click on the bright red thumbnail of our video.
Yeah. Danny Welbeck, speaking of very prolific goal scorers.
And ones who got away.
Yeah. Scored another goal.
Yeah. I'm not going to say he's quite the phenom that Haaland is, but he's 34 years old and he's been a reliable Premier League goal scorer his whole life.
Yeah. He's apparently in contention to be back in the England squad.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I would love to see. I just like Danny Welbeck.
Yeah,
he seems like a nice guy, and he played for United, and he's from our academy. He's a local boy.
Yeah,
and I don't think there's any United fans don't like Danny Welbeck.
No,
there were plenty didn't think he was very good when he played for United.
Yeah. I'm sure it's not revisionism to say that he was popular, but wasn't probably a Premier League winning.
Yeah.
Does he got a winners medal?
Yeah, he will have 2013.
Probably wasn't good enough to start reliably for a Premier League winning side, but a lot of the players we've signed since haven't been good enough to start. So the bar by which we accept players at United has fallen since he left, and maybe if it had fallen before he left, he would have been able to carve out a good career.
Yeah, twice we've explored the option of signing him in the summer as a backup option. His contract's up in the summer. Is the dream still alive?
Possibly. The hole left by Johnny Evans in the squad cannot be overstated, and maybe 35-year-old Danny Welbeck can help to soothe that wound.
Who would it be then after? Are there any United title winners still playing? There's Ashley Young.
De Gea's still playing.
We can't re-sign Ashley Young. Yeah, De Gea maybe when he's like 38 or something. Yeah. Sign him as a backup.
Who was the youngest player in that squad?
Don't know.
Who was coming through then? It was the season before Lingard and
Nick Powell still
came
playing.
through. He's playing for County.
What, Stockport County?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Anyone else in that squad still playing? Cleverly's managing Plymouth now.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any who will have had a medal who are still knocking about.
Ben Amos. I don't know if he played or is still playing.
Sam Johnston, he's at Wolves.
He was probably on loan that season.
Probably, yeah. No, so Welbeck would be a nice last hurrah.
Although that seems like an obvious thing to happen. When Tom Heaton retires, obviously we'll have Sam Johnston as our third choice goalkeeper.
Yeah, that would make sense. He's currently, I don't think there's anybody in the world other than some decision maker at Wolves who thought that he was a Premier League quality goalkeeper. So they've gone into the season with him as their number one.
Yeah,
and
Jose Sarr's not been very good for a while.
No.
But it does seem odd that they've now stuck with Sam Johnston.
Yeah, because he's not very good.
Yeah.
Like, he's not the issue at Wolves, but he's not a very good player.
No.
He's a very firmly championship goalkeeper, which is a fine thing to be.
Yeah.
He's currently acting above his station, I think.
Yeah. We should talk about Wolves. Obviously, Pereira has
breaking news yesterday.
Did farewell. Yeah. It was I saw a tweet, I think it was Adam Hurrey from Football Clichés, said, it's one of them managerial tenures that makes you wonder if anyone actually knows how good these managers are. Like, he did quite well for a while and then did really badly and he's gone now. It's like, I mean, how good was he? He did well for a few months and then
was really bad for
really badly.
Yeah, there's school of thought that managers are massively their influence is massively overstated.
Yeah.
And the sort of economic argument that the team with the highest wage bill usually is up there.
Yeah.
And the team with the lowest wage bill will struggle to be anywhere near it. There are obviously outliers to that. Brentford have a reliably low wage bill and are able to win games in the Premier League. But Wolves sold most of their good players in the summer and didn't sign anybody good to replace them.
Yeah, they lost Cunha, Semedo and Aït-Nouri and didn't sign anyone who'd played a game in the Premier League before. And they turned down the chances to sign like Walker Peters and Harry Wilson. And they're not amazing players, but...
No, but they've got, 10th place finishes on the CV, which no one at Wolves has.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a weird... And the most sort of, the manager doesn't matter move is to get Gary O'Neill back in.
Yeah. I don't think the fans would be very happy with that, but it looks like it might happen.
Yeah, I saw a tier list that had like Carrick and Brendan Rodgers and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, my nan, my dog, fold the club and start again, Gary O'Neill. It would be...
You sacked him less than a year ago because he was bottom of the league then. And now you're bottom of the league. Who do you turn to?
Yeah, and then Ange, Ange, who's been sacked twice in the last 6 months for being awful,
and not nearly being able to win a league game.
Like Brendan Rodgers, who has burnt so many bridges in Scotland that maybe he'll have to come back down south.
Yeah, and I think the fans generally would say the manager's not been good, but there's much deeper issues at the club. They're very unhappy with the owners and the transfer window. They gave the manager a lot of power in the transfer window. Yeah,
which is always a bad idea.
Contract, even though he'd done all right. He'd done quite well, but they really, really backed him. Rather than just saying, right, we'll see how it goes. They were like, we're sticking with this guy. He can do what he wants. And now they've sacked him.
It's always a bad idea to give the manager that much power in the market.
Yeah. It's not like Wolves have had any stability with managers recently. No. It's bound to happen that you're going to sack your manager at some point soon.
Yeah. The only club that sort of rivals them. Have you seen... So Southampton, since they had a major stakeholder takeover, have appointed 6 managers and 5 of them have won 2 or fewer league games. The only other one was it Nathan Jones who got them promoted?
No, he was the worst.
He was one of the Who got them promoted?
Russell Martin.
Russell Martin got promoted. He'd won 27 league games in the Championship.
Yeah, and then he won
Will Still won 1 league game. Nathan Jones won 0, I think.
Yeah, he won 1 game, I think, in charge, and that was against Man City in the League Cup. That stopped them winning the quadruple. Was Nathan Jones of Southampton.
Then there's that random bloke who is the pointless answer bloke that everyone talks about who was the Roma manager.
Ivan Juric.
Yeah, Ivan Juric, who didn't win a league game. He won 1 league game. That's a club that needs to sort themselves out. They were the sort of paragon of being a well-run club.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah, everyone signed all their great hidden gems that they'd found, and
they didn't have
got to the League Cup final and
got
into Europe twice.
Yeah, it's overstated. The sort of every team. There's always a team that has that cycle.
Yeah,
I think Brighton are probably the only one to sustainably lose their best players sort of for 5 years.
Yeah.
Most of them have one great squad, then it gets picked apart, and then they go back to being... they go back to being average. Brighton are actually...
they do seem to be able to sustain it.
There's an interesting thing going on in Scotland. So Tony Bloom, who is this data guru, made all his money on sports betting, owns Brighton, and has this data model that can find these undervalued players who are capable of playing at much higher levels than they are currently playing at. And I think what he's done is he's spotted a gap where there are players who are available and much better than the current level they're playing at, but will never probably be good enough to play in the Premier League.
Yeah. So
he could have just ignored those players and thought, well, we don't need to be... Why would we bother scouting the Slovakian second division or the Norwegian second division?
Yeah.
Or I could buy another club that sits in between and sign them all to play for them. So Hearts' star striker at the moment They signed from the Norwegian second tier. And, you know, you can talk, people admonish data and nerdism as much as you want, but no boots on the ground scout for Hearts is going to successfully recommend a player playing in the Norwegian second division.
No.
It's just not going to happen. They signed a player from like the fourth biggest team in Lithuania and and he's in their squad and he's playing at that level. Like, no one has that knowledge to translate players from those ridiculously low level divisions.
It has to be sort of algorithmic.
There has to be some, and you know, they don't get it right every time. That those two clubs, you know, the Tony Bloom model doesn't get it right every time. You know, there's definitely survivorship bias with Brighton squads where players come in and then leave for about the same that they paid for them, and they never turn out to be the next big thing, and that's fine.
I mean, it doesn't matter because they'll get it next time. Yeah,
like Valentin Barco, who they signed from Argentina, who everyone reckoned was going to be the next big thing. So it was inevitable that they went to Brighton. Now they're at Strasbourg. They're not great. He's fine there.
Yeah,
but maybe that's a bit of a whiff. But that's fine because they've got, you know, they can just keep doing it. And we've seen basically every executive that gets snapped up from Brighton and goes to another club, goes to Blueco or United or Everton, or they're all pretty average when they leave, when they stop having access to Tony Bloom's genius model that can predict how good players are going to be very reliably. Yeah. It stops working.
Like Chelsea took Brighton's manager and a few players and loads of their staff.
Yeah.
But the one person they can't sign is Tony Bloom because he's a massive Brighton fan. But now it seems he's gone for a club in another country, and Hearts have hit the jackpot, really.
Yeah, and they've also hit the jackpot in that this is the first time that I think Rangers and Celtic have both been in crisis at the same time.
Yeah. It's still 40 years since a team other than Rangers and Celtic have won the Scottish First Division, the Scottish Premier League, which was Aberdeen under Alex Ferguson.
Yeah.
So it would be quite something if Hearts won the league. I know it's early days, but
this is the first season, possibly ever, that Celtic and Rangers have both changed their manager in the same season.
Really?
Yeah, because if one of them is changing their manager, it's because the other one's top of the league.
Yeah, I suppose.
There's not been another team.
They never both need to sack their manager at the same time because one of them's winning the league.
Yeah. So it's ridiculous, and
it's been Rangers for the last few seasons. They've changed their manager.
Yeah, Celtic have had a couple of longer term appointments, but it's an interesting league to watch at the moment.
Yeah. It would be quite something if Hearts were to do it.
It certainly, was Ferguson was the last one.
Yeah, and then he won the Cup Winners' Cup as well. He was the last manager. I'm not as confident that this one's true, but I think it's true that he's the last manager to beat Real Madrid in a European final, which was with Aberdeen.
That makes sense, yeah.
I don't think anyone's done it since then.
Not that I can think of. Leverkusen lost to Real Madrid.
Yeah. 2002.
There was another manager, so Ferguson won the league with Aberdeen. Dundee United also won the league in the same decade, I think.
Right.
And no one knows anything about the Dundee United manager. I can't remember his name.
Didn't go on to become the greatest manager of all time.
I can't remember his name, but he deserves some credit for also doing it in the same time period.
Yeah. Should we look ahead to United's game this weekend?
Yeah.
Spurs away. Like we said at the start of the episode, how we view this result against Forest depends on what we go and do now. And Spurs are bad at home. Specifically, they are in terrible form at home. They lost at the weekend against Chelsea and created absolutely nothing.
Were Brentford were quite bad at home?
Last season,
or were Brentford awful away?
Last season, bizarrely, they were really good at home for half the season and then terrible at home and good away for the second half of the season.
Right, that was it, yeah.
So both is the answer.
Nice,
Maybe Spurs will do the same, but the other way around.
Hopefully we can play them in the period where they're really bad at home.
Yeah.
At home.
Hopefully we're playing them home in the first half of the season, so they'll be bad at home now when we play them and then bad away when we play them at home.
Yeah, I didn't catch the Chelsea Spurs game, but I did see players storming off the pitch, ignoring the manager, ignoring the crowd.
Yeah, it just seems to be an absolute dearth of creativity in the team, and particularly at home, that matters more.
Yeah,
and the fans get on the team's back. They created 0.05 XG against Chelsea, and it could have been more than 1-0, probably should have been.
Yeah, they miss Maddison and Kulusevski at the moment, don't they?
Yeah. And they've had some poor results. Obviously, losing to Chelsea, they drew with Wolves at home, and that was with a last-minute equaliser.
Yeah.
So I said this before, Forest. There's no reason we shouldn't be going there and winning. We're not good away. We've not got a good away record this season.
No.
Have we won an away league game this season?
No.
So, Liverpool, obviously.
Oh, true. Yeah.
The hardest one. But we should be capable of going there and winning and playing better than them and winning.
Yes.
And, we have to prove that we are capable of that and do it.
What we saw against Forest was a game but neither team wanted to be the team that had the ball the whole time.
Yeah.
They both wanted to get the ball and attack quickly.
Yeah.
And I think we have to try and be more dominant against Spurs, because that's how Spurs are very ineffective.
Yeah.
But we can't afford to let them play their way into form in this game, or let them grow into this game and let their creative players, figure it out how to do it.
Yeah.
We need to limit them, and then they are a limited side. So if you limit them the number of opportunities, then they aren't able to hurt you. We need to try and be a bit more front foot and not just let this game pass us by.
Yeah. It seems strange that they're above us in the league. It's, I suppose, recent form, because they started better and we started worse. It seems like they're less happy at the minute in the immediate present than United fans.
They weren't not quite the same as Liverpool, but after their first, they win their first 4 games. I think there was
they won a few at the start.
The numbers all pointed to them being overperforming.
Yeah,
and Spurs fans probably, justifiably said, "Who cares? We're top of the league, or we're second in the league." They have now sort of regressed to they are not able to reliably overperform. They need to figure out other ways of winning games.
Yeah,
and it's what we said about Thomas Frank is the skill set required to manage Brentford is very different to the skill set required to manage a dominant top 6 side.
It's early days, but it is sort of proving true that the ceiling of this team doesn't seem to be very high.
Not much higher than the ceiling of his Brentford team was. Yeah. Which was capable of beating good sides, but probably not capable of winning the league.
Yeah. And it feels a little bit similar to when Nuno was in charge of Spurs.
Yeah.
And this is similar to the sort of the United way kind of idea that I don't know if Spurs fans ultimately will see him as a Spurs manager if he continues to play this sort of uninspiring football. Yeah. And it's not, they seem, there's, I don't know how many clubs there are like this. I think United are one, Spurs and West Ham seem to be, and Everton maybe, where they have this is the way you play at this club.
Yeah.
And Nuno
traditionalist clubs.
Nuno didn't fit in at Spurs. He won Manager of the Month in his first month, and I think he might have been sacked by this point in the year.
Yeah, possibly.
So I think Thomas Frank has, or certainly will, last longer than Nuno, but
how much of that is just because Levy's not in charge anymore?
Yeah.
Maybe Levy would have sacked him by now.
Yeah.
Arguably not, but if it gets to, got another couple of months down the line and they aren't, because they've got a good squad.
Yeah.
Probably without Kulusevski and Maddison, with them injured, it's not as good because you're relying on Simmons and Bergval for your creativity. They're both young players. Neither of them have got much experience in the league.
Yeah.
So it is going to hold you back. They've got Kudus as well, who's a good player and a dangerous player and can definitely hurt United if they're not careful.
Yeah. And this part of the reason why we have to go there and win is because we've not won there in about 5 years.
I think
and they beat us 4 times last season. They finished 17th in the league and beat us 4 times.
Yes.
Not great. But it's awful to lose to any side 4 times in one season. But to lose to that Spurs team.
Yeah, one of the only teams that managed to actually be worse than us in the league.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone else lost twice to Spurs last season.
No.
And I mean, it's lucky we didn't get them in the FA Cup because that would have been painful.
Yeah. Some absolutely ridiculous games against them. There was the 4-3 in the Cup.
Where the 2 goalkeepers were competing to and make more mistakes than the other. Yeah. Bayern they won that competition.
Yeah, there was the league game when we had absolutely no squad and we turned up and without a bench.
Yeah, and Obi was on the bench.
We had like 6, 17-year-olds on the bench, and he didn't make a single sub. And I think I lost that 1-0.
We lost that 1-0, yeah. Madison scored a rebound. It was just a nothing game.
Yeah.
Nothing happened in that game.
What was the Old Trafford game?
We got absolutely battered 3-0.
Yes. Oh, did
Solanke scored 2, I think. Fernandez got sent off.
Fernandez got sent off,
rescinded.
and then it got rescinded. Fat lot of good that
But we
did.
would have lost the game anyway.
Yeah, we were already 2-0 down, weren't we? Van der
we
Ven scored really early.
behind, yeah.
And
Van
then
der Ven didn't score. He ran
made
the
the assist, yes.
and squared it.
And then no one can remember the fourth time we played him. We didn't.
That was the opposite extreme to the League Cup game, where
both teams.
nothing happened.
Nothing happened. Yeah.
I just happened to bounce in.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. No one can remember the fourth game. It didn't happen.
Painful. So we have to go and win just to help me forget that game.
Yes, yeah. Because a lot of the discourse coming into this season around United and Spurs, they've acted differently. Spurs sacked their manager, got a proven manager. United stuck with their sort of experimental foreign hire.
Yeah.
And it looked like the start of the season that Spurs were much more successful.
Yeah.
And Spurs were right. And they had this good run of games and they won a lot of points. Now they're regressing and United are progressing. Hopefully we can see that Amorim isn't a total loser and Frank isn't the God's gift of football.
Yeah.
But it would be very nice to help prove that by beating them.
Yeah. The one thing that worries me slightly is that it's the early kickoff. And I hate United seem, this can't be true, but United seem to never win in the early kickoff. I remember plenty. Mainly when I was a teenager under Van Gaal and stuff, where I wouldn't get up until about 10 minutes before the kickoff.
And then we'd lose.
Yeah. So I remember losing to Sunderland away, the early kickoff.
Yeah.
That was a bad one. And it just seems like I just have bad memories associated with them.
Yeah.
So
fingers crossed.
Yeah. That was it. Was there an Arsenal one a couple of seasons ago? It was the early kickoff and Fernandez missed a penalty.
That doesn't sound good.
No. So we can put that one right as well as our Spurs hoodoo, is our 12:30 kickoff hoodoo.
Yeah.
And
fingers crossed.
We've got to go and do it.
Yeah.
Is that all from us?
I think so.
I think we've said our piece. Thanks everyone for listening.
The shout out we made at the end of last episode, Mike, is still valid. You can redeem that at some point in the near future.
Yes. Good luck, listener. Mike's still hanging on in there. And our youngest listener is still probably me.
Yeah.
Until someone takes that crown off me.
Do dogs count?
No.
Oh, bit mean. I think dogs count.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they were old.
They're not human old.
I'm not human old.
Yeah,
I could be dog old and older than me.
No, they couldn't.
No, you don't get
30-year-old dogs. Older than you?
Yeah, I know. But you could be older than me and still a lot younger than 30.
I
am. Anyway.
Yeah.
Good banter.
Yeah. We just like to keep the 3 seconds of allotted banter.
Yeah.
So it's all very matter of fact and dry up to that point, and then we have our one joke at the end of the show.
Let ourselves go.
Joke of the week.
Yeah.
Make sure you like and subscribe. Leave a comment on YouTube.
Try and get some more content on the old social media this week.
We'll see what happens.
No promises.
No. But we're looking into solutions for the lighting. It's not a problem, the lighting, but that's the next thing.
I think you see it as more of a problem than anyone who's particularly listening will care about.
Oh, yeah. They don't care about the lighting of the old
audio listeners.
But we'll be back next week. Hopefully another 3 points.
Yeah.
And one step, we'll, hopefully rise up the table a little bit, as the table is so sort of concertinaed.
It is now 10 games, so we can look at the table now. So it'd be nice to be a bit higher up in it.
It'd be nice to climb up.
Yeah. Right. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you out there.